The CEO stepped through the door, his eyes scanning the room, only to freeze in disbelief as the reality hit him. He didn't know these men, but he knew of them. They were supposed to be the face of his brand, the ones who sold the luxury cars that spoke of elegance, wealth, and power with every hum of their engines. But today, it wasn't the sleek cars that caught his attention. No, it was the men who were meant to represent them, his own people. They were the ones who were now at the heart of something far more dangerous than a mere sale. Stay with us to see what unfolds next. The CEO of the showroom is Tyrell "Ty" Washington. At 45, Ty has built his empire from the ground up, his name synonymous with innovation, success, and luxury. Born and raised in the heart of Detroit, Michigan, Ty came from humble beginnings, working his way up from a mechanic in his early 20s to the owner of one of the most prestigious car showrooms in America, Washington's Wheels. He's a man who's hard to read, reserved, but his presence is commanding. With salt and pepper hair and a tailored suit, he cuts an imposing figure in any room. But beneath that polished exterior is a man who never forgets where he came from, always pushing for more, always driving forward. Tyrell Washington wasn't just a businessman, he was a visionary. The owner of Washington's Wheels, an exclusive showroom catering to the ultra-wealthy. His cars were more than just machines, they were symbols. And for Tyrell, every sale wasn't just a transaction, it was a testament to the legacy he was building. But behind his success lay a secret. His showroom was more of a battlefield than a business. A battlefield where loyalty and integrity were in short supply. Washington's Wheels is more than a dealership, it's an experience. Located in a posh district of Detroit, the showroom is a mecca for those with money to burn. From custom luxury sports cars to limited edition models, each car on the floor is a dream waiting to be realized. The showroom is a clean, spacious building with polished glass windows that reflect the bright city skyline. The interior is designed to exude class, minimalist but elegant, with sleek lighting highlighting the vehicles. There are 12 salesmen in total. All are dressed in sharp suits, trained to speak the language of the wealthy. But behind their polished exteriors, there's an undercurrent of rivalry, jealousy, and deceit. Each man wants the big sale, the big commission, the recognition. Some go to great lengths to secure those deals, often at the expense of honesty. In a place like this, appearances were everything. And for the salesman, every handshake, every smile, every pitch was a performance. They were there to sell, to impress, to close the deal at any cost. But some of them didn't realize the truth always comes out. And today it would be Tyrell who would expose them. It's a typical afternoon at Washington's Wheels. The showroom is bustling with activity. Several customers browse the cars, admiring the gleaming models. Salesmen approach them with practiced smiles, offering information, closing in for the sale. But something is off. Dan, one of the top salesmen, is speaking to a wealthy businessman, a customer looking for a top-of-the-line luxury SUV. The deal seems straightforward, but as Tyrell watches from the distance, he sees something he's never liked: lies. Dan is lying about the car's features. He's claiming that the vehicle has a state-of-the-art sound system that it doesn't. He's also promising the customer that it comes with a 7-year warranty, which it doesn't. Tyrell's gaze sharpens. Tyrell knows Dan's game. He's seen it before. Dan's charming, his pitch smooth, but he's always been too eager to secure a sale at any cost. And today, Tyrell sees it. The dishonesty is plain, and it's more than just a mistake. It's a betrayal of everything Tyrell stands for. And it's not just Dan. Tyrell scans the room and notices several of the other salesmen doing the same, embellishing features, overpromising, cutting corners. It wasn't just one salesman, one misstep. It was a trend, a pattern that Tyrell had ignored for too long. His team, the very people he had trusted to uphold his values, were turning his empire into a house of lies. And Tyrell, he wasn't having it. Not today, not ever. Tyrell walks closer, his polished shoes clicking sharply on the floor. As he approaches Dan, he sees the salesman lean in to finalize the deal with the businessman, his lies flowing smoothly. The man's expression is eager, but Tyrell can see the cracks starting to form in the illusion. Dan's selling something that isn't real, and Tyrell knows it. Without warning, Tyrell steps forward, his presence undeniable. The room falls silent. The salesman frees. The customer looks up, startled. Dan's confident smile falters. Tyrell's face is stone, his anger barely contained. "Dan, what are you doing?" Dan's mouth opens, but the words don't come out. Tyrell isn't shouting, his voice is quiet, controlled. But every word feels like a slap. "You lied to this man. You sold him a dream that doesn't exist. This is my showroom, and I don't tolerate this kind of dishonesty. Not from you, not from anyone." The tension in the room is thick. The other salesmen shift uncomfortably, avoiding eye contact with their boss. The customer, sensing the unease, begins to look uncomfortable as well. Tyrell's gaze sweeps across the room, his eyes locking with each of his salesmen, one by one. Tyrell stood there, his hands clenched by his sides. His empire, built on integrity and trust, was being tainted by the very people who were supposed to uphold it. The betrayal wasn't just a threat to his business, it was a personal affront. He had fought too hard, too long, to let it all come crashing down over something as simple as a lie. Tyrell takes a deep breath, then turns his attention back to Dan. "You don't lie here. You don't sell lies. You don't play with people's trust. You've forgotten what this business is about. But I haven't. And it's time we have a little talk about that." Tyrell's voice echoes in the showroom, filling the space with authority. The other salesmen are visibly shaken. Dan, now exposed, stands there defeated, guilty. Tyrell's eyes burn with intensity. This isn't just about one lie anymore. This is about something bigger. About power, control, and what happens when you cross the line. Tyrell turns to the other salesman, his expression hardening. "I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to make sure this business stays true to what it was built on. And if any of you think you're going to keep lying, then you might want to start looking for a new job, because I'm done tolerating this nonsense." With that, he walks toward the door, his footsteps echoing. He stops, looks back over his shoulder with one last glare. "I don't think for a second I didn't see all of you." The morning after Tyrell's confrontation in the showroom, the tension is palpable in the air. The salesmen gather for their morning briefing, but today the usual camaraderie is replaced by silence. There's no light-hearted chatter, no joking, just a quiet unease that hangs in the air like a storm waiting to break. Tyrell arrives at the showroom early. His shoes make sharp, deliberate sounds as they hit the marble floor. He walks past the salesman, not making eye contact. His presence is enough to keep everyone on edge. The atmosphere is heavy with the weight of yesterday's events. Tyrell had never been a man who tolerated weakness or deceit. Yesterday, in a rare moment of vulnerability, his empire had been shaken. But this wasn't about him anymore. This was about setting things right, about reclaiming what was his. The problem wasn't just the lies, it was what the lies represented, a breakdown of trust. And in this business, trust was everything. The salesmen gather in the break room for their daily briefing. The room is quieter than usual. Tyrell enters, his eyes scanning the room. There's no anger in his gaze anymore, just a cool, calculated look that makes everyone even more nervous. "You all know what happened yesterday. You saw me walk in, and you saw how I handled it. You saw how I treated Dan. But I want to make something clear to all of you. What happened yesterday wasn't about one bad salesman, one slip-up. It's about something bigger." He pauses, letting the weight of his words settle in. The salesmen look at one another, unsure of how to react. "When you're working under me, I expect integrity. It's not just a word we throw around. It's a value that has to be lived. Every deal you make, every handshake you give should reflect who you are. But more importantly, it should reflect who we are as a brand." There's a tense silence. Some of the men shift uncomfortably, while others look down, avoiding eye contact. Tyrell can feel the resentment, the simmering anger beneath the surface, but he doesn't flinch. He's been through tougher battles than this. He knows exactly what this moment calls for. "I know some of you think I went too far yesterday, You think I embarrassed Dan, maybe even embarrassed all of you. But let me tell you something, what you saw in that moment wasn't about punishment. It was a lesson. For all of us. I don't care about sales numbers. I care about who you are when nobody's watching. I care about your character. And I expect more from you all than what I saw yesterday. The room is dead silent. Tyrell's words linger in the air like a heavy fog. There's no escape from them. And then Dan, the man who was exposed just a day ago, stands up. Dan stands, his face a mixture of shame and defiance. His hands are slightly trembling, but he forces himself to speak. The other salesmen watch in silence, not sure what to expect. You're right, Tyrell. I messed up, but I didn't think it'd be a big deal. I mean, everyone exaggerates a little, right? I've been here the longest, and I'm the one who's always closing the deals. I thought I could bend the truth to make things easier, but I see now I was wrong. Tyrell listens, his gaze steady, but he doesn't interrupt. He waits for Dan to finish. Honestly, I got comfortable, and I thought if I kept selling the dream, the numbers would come. But I've realized now that I don't just sell cars, I sell trust. And if I lose that, I lose everything. I can't undo what I did yesterday, but I can promise you I'll never lie again. The room is still, but for the first time in a while, the air feels a little lighter. There's a sense of vulnerability in Dan's words, a realness that wasn't there before. The salesmen look at each other, and for a moment there's a quiet understanding between them all. That's what I wanted to hear, Dan. That's what I'm talking about. It's not about being perfect. It's about owning your mistakes and learning from them. The other salesmen begin to nod, some with a sense of relief, others with a quiet acknowledgement that this moment has shifted something in them. Tyrell's gaze sweeps the room again, but this time it's softer, almost compassionate. Later that day, Tyrell calls Jay into his office. Jay has been one of the quieter salesmen, the one who didn't get involved in the lies, the one who kept his head down and focused on his work. Tyrell respects that. But today he wants to know where Jay stands, what kind of man he really is. Jay enters the office, his posture tense. He stands before Tyrell, unsure of what to expect. Jay, you've been quiet through all of this. I noticed you didn't get involved with the lies. But that doesn't mean I don't want to hear your perspective. What do you think about all this? Jay swallows hard, his nerves getting the better of him, but he stands his ground. I think we've all been wrong. I don't know if anyone here meant to hurt the company or the customers, but I get it. We've lost our way a little bit. I'm just trying to do the right thing, sir. Tyrell looks at him for a long moment. He can see that Jay gets it, he understands what's at stake, and that's exactly why he's about to give him a chance. Jay, I've been watching you. You've got something more than just sales skills. You've got integrity. And that's why I want you to be my right hand here. Help me rebuild what we've lost. Help me make sure Washington's Wheels isn't just about the cars, it's about the people we serve and the values we stand by. Jay's eyes widen in surprise. This wasn't something he had expected. He wasn't a manager material, or at least he didn't think he was. But Tyrell saw something in him. And for the first time in a long time, Jay felt like he belonged. Thank you, sir. I won't let you down. The next few weeks bring a transformation to the showroom. Tyrell's decision to be transparent, to hold his team accountable, has started to shift the culture. Sales aren't skyrocketing overnight, but the integrity of the team is restored. Customers come in not just for the luxury cars, but because they can trust the people who are selling them. As for Dan, he's working hard to rebuild his reputation, earning the respect of his peers one honest sale at a time. The other salesmen have learned their lesson. And Jay, now in his new role, is starting to become the leader Tyrell saw in him from the start. Tyrell Washington's empire wasn't just built on steel and chrome, it was built on trust. And today, the foundation of that trust was stronger than ever. But in the midst of this renewed sense of purpose, Tyrell receives an unexpected call, a warning from an old business rival. Someone is plotting against Washington's Wheels, and Tyrell knows that the battle for his empire is far from over. Tyrell, you've got trouble coming. Someone's trying to bring you down. Don't trust everyone in your circle. Keep your eyes open." Tyrell's face hardens as he listens. His team is stronger now, but he knows the road ahead is fraught with danger. The battle for integrity is just beginning, and so is the fight for his empire. It's been a few weeks since Tyrell's big confrontation with his team. The showroom at Washington's Wheels feels calmer now, but something is amiss. The tension is lifted, but a quiet unease remains just beneath the surface. The employees are working harder, more focused, but Tyrell can feel that things aren't quite as they seem. Someone somewhere has been trying to undermine everything he's worked for. Tyrell is in his office, going through the week's sales reports. His mind is still sharp, but there's something gnawing at him. The phone call he received yesterday continues to echo in his thoughts. It was from a business rival, someone he thought he had left behind years ago, but who now seems determined to destroy Washington's Wheels. Tyrell's gut never lied to him, and right now it was telling him something wasn't right. Washington's Wheels had always been his safe place, his creation, his legacy. But the warning he had received felt different. It wasn't just about business, it was personal. Someone was out to get him, and Tyrell wasn't about to sit back and wait for it to happen. Tyrell decides to meet with his sales team to discuss the recent improvements and how they've been holding up since the shakeup. He's proud of how far they've come, but there's still something lingering in the air. His eyes scan the room, landing on Dan, who's become more diligent and honest in his work, yet still carries the weight of his past mistakes. And then there's Jay, the one person he now trusts most. The team is gathered in the conference room, their usual energy tempered by the knowledge that the CEO is watching their every move. Tyrell clears his throat, standing in front of them. "Listen up. I've been watching all of you. I know things haven't been easy since the changes, but I've seen improvement. You've all been working harder, and I respect that. Jay, I want to thank you for stepping up, for taking on more responsibility. And Dan, I see you're doing your best to rebuild trust. Keep it up." The team nods, grateful for the acknowledgement, but the sense of unease lingers. Tyrell can tell that some are still hesitant, unsure whether the trust they've earned is truly earned or just a temporary reprieve. And that's when Tyrell spots something, a small detail that changes everything. A flicker of hesitation in one of the salesmen's eyes. One salesman, Marcus, a veteran who had been with the company since its early days, caught Tyrell's eye. He was standing there, nodding like the others, but there was something different about him. The look in his eyes was hard to read. Something was off. Tyrell wasn't sure if it was guilt, uncertainty, or something more, but his gut told him Marcus knew something he wasn't saying. Later that day, Tyrell meets with his trusted right-hand man, Jay. They sit in Tyrell's office, the door closed behind them. Jay can sense that something's weighing on his boss's mind. "Something on your mind, sir? You've been looking, I don't know, distracted lately. This rival of yours really got under your skin, huh?" Tyrell leans back in his chair, his fingers steepled together. "It's not just the rival. There's something else going on here, Jay. I don't know what it is, but I feel it. Someone's trying to undermine everything we've built. And I think Marcus is involved. I don't know why, but he's hiding something. I need you to watch him. I need to know what's going on behind the scenes." Jay listens intently, nodding slowly. He knows how much Tyrell values loyalty, and the thought that someone in the showroom might be betraying him stings more than it should. "I've got your back, Tyrell. I'll keep an eye on him. You won't regret trusting me with this." Tyrell nods, a slight smile tugging at his lips, though his eyes remain hard. The weight of the situation is growing heavier, and he knows he can't afford to be wrong. The following week, things begin to unravel at a quicker pace. Tyrell's suspicions about Marcus seem to be confirmed. Jay comes to him with disturbing news. Marcus has been in contact with the rival company, and it's not just casual talk. They've been discussing confidential information about Washington's Wheels, its upcoming models, the deals that were in the works, and the weaknesses in the showroom's current sales strategies. Tyrell's heart sinks as he listens. The betrayal is even worse than he expected. But instead of reacting impulsively, he takes a deep breath. He has to handle this carefully. Marcus might be the tip of the iceberg, but Tyrell knows that making a scene would only show weakness. This is a game of strategy now. Tyrell wasn't a man who showed his cards early. He wasn't one for wild accusations or rushing in headfirst. No, he played his cards close to the chest, and this time he would have to make sure every move was calculated. But there was one thing he knew for sure: Marcus had crossed a line. And now it was time for Tyrell to show him just who was in charge. Tyrell arranges a private meeting with Marcus, who has no idea that his betrayal has been uncovered. When Marcus walks into Tyrell's office, he's wearing his usual confident smile. He's unaware that everything he's worked for is about to come crashing down. "Marcus, we need to talk." Marcus's smile fades, his eyes narrowing slightly as he sits across from Tyrell. The tension in the air is palpable. "Sure, Tyrell, what's this about?" "Don't play games with me, Marcus. I know about the conversations you've been having. I know you've been selling out my company. You've been talking to my competitor, everything we've worked for, everything I've built. You're throwing it away for what? A few quick deals?" Marcus's face goes pale. The weight of Tyrell's words hits him, but he doesn't immediately admit to anything. Instead, he shifts in his seat, trying to salvage whatever he can. I didn't mean for it to go this far. They offered me a better position, better benefits, more money. It's not like I wanted to destroy Washington's wheels. I was just looking out for myself." Tyrell stands up now, his height and presence dominating the room. He doesn't raise his voice, but his authority is undeniable. "You crossed a line. You didn't just look out for yourself, Marcus. You betrayed me, my team, and everything we stand for. That's something I can't let slide." Marcus looks down at the floor, defeated. He knows the game is over. Tyrell watches him for a moment before speaking again. "Pack your things. You're done here." The fallout from Marcus's betrayal is swift and decisive. Tyrell fires him on the spot and makes it clear to the entire team that disloyalty will not be tolerated. The other salesmen are shaken, but they understand the message. Tyrell's leadership has been tested, and he's emerged stronger. Washington's wheels is once again united under his vision. As for Tyrell, he's learned a valuable lesson. He knows that in the world of business, trust is everything, but trust is fragile, and it's something that must be earned every single day. The showroom moves forward stronger than ever, but Tyrell knows this isn't the end. The threats, the competition, the risks, they're all still out there. And the road ahead will require even more vigilance, more strength, and more loyalty than ever before. Tyrell Washington had faced betrayal head-on and emerged victorious. But the true test of his legacy was not just in overcoming the challenges of today. It was about ensuring that the next time a storm hit, his empire, his family would be ready. As Tyrell sits in his office, reflecting on the events of the past few weeks, his phone rings again. This time, it's a different voice on the other end, someone he's never heard before. "You think it's over? You think Marcus was the last of it? You've been warned, Tyrell. This is bigger than you think. And you're not as untouchable as you believe." Tyrell's grip tightens around the phone. His instincts flare. This isn't just about Marcus. This is the beginning of something much darker. A few days after the phone call, Tyrell is in his office, reflecting on everything that has happened. The fallout from Marcus's betrayal has reverberated through the showroom, but things have started to settle down. Washington's wheels is recovering, and the team is more focused than ever. Tyrell has had to make hard decisions, and while the showroom is back on track, he can't shake the feeling that the worst is yet to come. The phone call he received lingers in his mind like a dark cloud. Jay enters the office, knocking softly before stepping in. He can tell that Tyrell is deep in thought, his brow furrowed as he looks out of the window. "You good, Tyrell? You've been quiet lately." Tyrell turns toward him, his face a little more tired than usual. The weight of leadership is heavy, but Jay's loyalty has been a beacon for him in the storm. "It's been a hell of a ride, Jay. But something doesn't sit right. I've dealt with Marcus, but there's still something I'm not seeing." Someone's pulling the strings behind the scenes. I can feel it. Whatever it is, you've got this. You've already proven that loyalty is what drives this place. We'll handle it, just like we've handled everything else. Tyrell nods, but the unease doesn't leave him. He knows the battle isn't over. It's far from it. Later that afternoon, Tyrell is in his office, handling some paperwork, when he gets an unexpected visitor. It's the rival business owner who called him weeks ago, the one who's been trying to undermine his company. The man enters, a smirk on his face. Tyrell doesn't need to be told who he is. He's been the one behind the whispers, behind the sabotage. And now he's here face to face. Tyrell, it's good to finally meet you in person. Tyrell doesn't stand, his eyes never leaving the man. His voice is calm but steady. Cut to the chase. Why are you here? Let's not pretend, Tyrell. You've made it clear that loyalty and trust are your foundation. But that's your weakness, isn't it? Trust can only take you so far. Eventually people turn on you. Like your boy Marcus. Or better yet, someone closer than you think. Tyrell's eyes narrow. The rival is playing a dangerous game, trying to get under his skin. But Tyrell remains composed. You think I don't know who's been pulling the strings. You've been using Marcus, and you've been trying to destabilize my team. But it's not working. I've faced worse than this, and I'm not backing down. You haven't learned, have you? It's not about Marcus. It's about who's been with you from the beginning. That is your weakness, Tyrell. Tyrell's blood runs cold as the words hang in the air. He's been here before. He knows exactly what this is. The rival is playing a long game, but Tyrell has a card of his own to play. Just then, the door to Tyrell's office opens, and Jay walks in. He looks at the rival and immediately sees the tension in the room. His instincts flare, but Tyrell motions for him to stay calm. The rival businessman looks between Tyrell and Jay, then laughs darkly. You really don't get it, do you, Tyrell? Jay's been working for me. He's the one who tipped me off about your weaknesses. You've been playing, my friend. Tyrell's heart skips a beat, but he doesn't let the shock show. Instead, he looks at Jay, who stands still, eyes avoiding Tyrell's gaze. The air feels thick with betrayal. Jay, is this true? Jay's shoulders slump, and for a moment he says nothing. Then he looks up at Tyrell, regret and guilt written all over his face. It's true, Tyrell. I did work for him, but I was trying to protect you, protect Washington's wheels. I couldn't see it at first, but after everything that's happened, I realized I've been doing this all wrong. Tyrell watches Jay, his face unreadable. The pain of betrayal is sharp, but Tyrell doesn't react immediately. He needs to hear the truth. You don't just walk away from something like this, Jay. You don't sell out the people who believed in you. You sold me out. You sold all of us out. There's a long, heavy silence. Jay looks genuinely broken, but the rival businessman is grinning now, as if he's won. I told you, Tyrell. People are only loyal when they've got something to gain. Jay's just like everyone else. You were never going to win. Not in the long run. Tyrell stands up, walking slowly toward the rival business owner. His voice is low and firm. You're wrong. You don't understand what it means to build something that matters. You don't understand loyalty, and that's why you'll lose. Tyrell turns to Jay, his expression softening for a moment. I gave you a chance, Jay. And now it's over. You need to make a choice. Do you want to keep working for a man who will tear down everything you've ever known? Or do you want to rebuild this company, our company, with honor? Jay hesitates, and Tyrell doesn't wait for an answer. He turns back to the rival, his eyes burning with intensity. Get out, you've lost. The rival businessman, now defeated, leaves the office without another word. Tyrell and Jay stand in silence for a moment. The betrayal stings, but Tyrell is resolute. Tyrell Washington had just faced the ultimate test: betrayal, manipulation, and the crushing weight of broken trust. But through it all, he stood tall. Because the true measure of a man isn't how many people betray him, but how he chooses to rise in the face of that betrayal. Jay stands there looking at Tyrell, a mix of regret and determination in his eyes. He's made his choice. But for Tyrell, the road ahead is clear. From here on out, no more lies, no more games. This is our company. We rebuild it, or we let it crumble. The choice is yours. Tyrell walks past Jay, heading back to his desk. The weight of leadership, of trust, presses down on him, but Tyrell knows that with or without Jay, he will rebuild Washington's wheels. Because trust may be fragile, but integrity, that's what keeps empires standing. As Tyrell sits at his desk, the phone rings once more. This time it's a call he's been waiting for. The rival business owner is out of the picture, and now Tyrell can focus on rebuilding his legacy. But the lesson he's learned is not one he'll soon forget. Trust is precious, but loyalty is earned, and sometimes you have to lose it all to understand what really matters. Tyrell Washington didn't just build a business, he built a family. And in the end, that's what saved him. Loyalty isn't about being perfect, it's about standing by each other, through the good and the bad, and never giving up. In this world, that's what really matters. As we wrap up Tyrell's story, there's a powerful lesson to be learned. Betrayal will come, but how we handle it, how we rise in the face of it, that's what defines us. Tyrell chose to rebuild his company, not just for the money or the success, but because he believed in what he was building. Loyalty is more than just a word, it's a way of life. And Tyrell's journey reminds us that true success comes from standing up for what's right, no matter the cost. If you've learned something from Tyrell's story, if you believe in loyalty, integrity, and overcoming the odds, then don't miss out on more stories like this. Subscribe to our channel now for more stories, powerful lessons, and inspiring journeys. Trust us, you won't want to miss what's coming next.